Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like the heathen. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And this is a video, Salakia. I'm just trying to adjust the camera, so there we go, Salakia. This was a video that was sent to me by the beloved brother Shati, one of the elder brothers in my camp here. And man, I mean, it's and it was put up by the young pretty brown thing here. What's her name? Mika or Miki, Kalel or Kel, and it's just she put together a compilation of videos with Babylonians, that being Americans, all right, the new Babylon, complaining that they're broke. Let's look at some of these titles before we get into the scriptures and play some of these. This is number 4, which is 15 minutes long. It says TikTok Vents Part 4. We are all broke and overworked, inflation and tired. All right, that's what they're called. The next one is 49 minutes. All right, almost 50 minutes. All right. The next one, TikTok Vents Part, and that was Part 4. This is Part 3. Part 2 of We Are All Broke and Overworked, Inflation, Tired. That one's 20 minutes long. And then the first one, number 1, is 16 minutes long. So she put together this compilation. So let me open with a scripture. Let me get Proverbs, and then we're going to play like maybe 2 or 3 of the people. Let them vent, let them tell their stories. And then we're going to get into the scriptures, because I tell you that the men of the Lord were telling you that these days would come for 16 years on the internet. All right, for 16 years, this truth has been going on the internet and on the highways and byways through the apostles and elders, bishops, 15 years prior to that, 20 years prior to that. I mean, they've been out on the highways and byways 40 something years pushing this truth. All right. But let me get first scriptures, Proverbs 29. And it's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Why? Because the wicked are in rulership. The only good thing is that the wicked are starting to fall. And the wicked is Esau, Edom, who is a self-proclaimed white man. All right. What your girl Jane Fonda said was true. All right. The only way to make the world a decent and place is minus the so-called white man. The world is in the condition it is in because of him. All right. And his woman stood by him. All right. So it is what it is. That is not a racist statement. That is not a hateful statement. It is just simply the God honest truth. All right. The water, the air, the food, all the wars, all the stolen land, all this upheaval and uproars and bickering back and forth is mainly because of what he did. And now these people are complaining about their lives when they've destroyed so many other people's lives. You see, what's happening is not only, because what's happening, this is like the Bacon's Rebellion Part 2 all over again. All right. Bacon's Rebellion was a very important thing in history that they left out of the textbooks for in your curriculum in your schools. All right. Because what was happening was everybody was getting railroaded, getting screwed over by the wealthy so-called white people. They weren't even called white yet. They proclaimed themselves that in about 1681 in Virginia. And they were doing wrong, even their own white people. What they did was the other Edomites, but what they did, the poor, working class, indentured servant Edomites. So what they did was they granted them this new club, this new thing called whiteness, and put them at the front of the line. and they still were being mistreated collectively, but they had front of the line privileges, and they had privileges that put them over the people of color, especially the so-called black man, Native American, and so-called Hispanic, which were all the same race, and they're the ones that divided them up and gave them all these names. Because there was a time in America when you couldn't tell a Negro from a Native, all right? Because they were all considered the same people, all right? Once upon a time, okay? But with this man in rulership, this is why people are going through what they're going through. So this is Proverbs 2 and 2, and it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So people are mourning. So let's listen to some mourning.
$98 goddamn at Costco to fill up my tank. $98.
Hearing news this week that the United Nations had a vote on whether or not food was a right, and finding out that the United States is the only country that said no, really doesn't make me want to go outside. It doesn't make me want to pay my bills. It doesn't make me want to do anything. Honestly, it's lengthening the deep sadness that I feel living in this country that already existed. Food isn't a fucking right.
Yo, this world is so backwards. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm tired of not being able to afford daycare because it's the cost of my weekly pay for one day. I'm tired of spending $200+ a week just to feed my family. I'm tired of filling my gas tank twice a week when I go to work twice a week and work from home the other days. I'm tired of working 2 jobs just to live the bare minimum, just to make it. This economy is not set up for families or working moms. I'm just tired. I'm tired. But you make too much for government assistance, so we can't approve you. But you don't make enough to live, so...
I'm literally on the cusp of really just giving the fuck up. I'm so exhausted of pretending to be okay, and then people still demanding me to be more, to be bigger, to be better for their own personal enjoyment, but not for my own mental fucking health. I find it very exhausting as a woman, as a black woman, as a queer black woman, to have to be everything for everybody.
And she wonder why she's going through it. All right? Her seatbelt is black. Her skin is brown. How smart is she? You see, the men of the Lord have been warning you of these things and telling you these things, and all you did at minimum, you scoffed. That was a minimum. This is Job 9:24, and it reads, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So this pale male, this red man, all right, the real red man, red pale flesh, all right, covered up the faces of the true judges and put his face up that he's the judge, when the only thing he is the wicked. All right, he is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And the Lord set him up. And when you're following his way, which is ungodly, there's no light in him, Isaiah 8:20, this is what you get. A woman that thinks she's that got a collection of dildos, could all, her hair wouldn't grow anyway because she's under the curses, because she's a Judite, all right? And she's just all confused. This is what you get when you follow the devil and ignore the men of the Lord and scoff and call us names and all these other things that we're preaching hate when we've just been teaching you and preaching to you the God honest truth, but you didn't want to hear it.
Women want me to be their best friend and confidant and their advice giver and leech all of my energy to bring them joy. Men want me to give them seduction. They want me to smile. They want me to only give them...
So she playing both sides of the fence, all right? She chomping on cucumbers and she doing the scissors too. She all kind of confused. All right. I don't even want to hear her no more. Let's go to the next one. Next complaint.
Raise 3 children per month is supposed to be happy with the fact that the average cost to raise 3 children per month is over $4,000.
Hmm.
I always get, you're so pretty, you're such a beautiful girl. And trust me, like, I love it, I eat it up. I love it, you know? I take pride in taking good care of myself, and I will actually be watching my face.
You're obese at best. So you're failing at taking care of yourself.
I'm not just going to only use these wipes, but today I got paid. My check was a little bit over $2,000. I did 10 hours overtime because that's what I'm allowed to do.
What are you doing?
And then I got a $24 check from the second job that I just started at the mall. I paid my rent. That was like $1,500. $1,553. I paid my car note. That was $406. That left me with $81. I went and got gas because I was on E. That left me with $33. And I went to the grocery store to get a can of soup and some bread and some stuff, and so I can eat dinner. And I went to get some Cheez-Its because I love Cheez-Its.
Clearly.
And they're normally $2.99 a box, but they're like almost $4. And I cry because it's like $4. Like, who pays $4 for a box of crackers?
So are we just all going to pretend that we're fine? Because the more people that I talk to, the more young couples in their like 20s and 30s, or even like,
And this is very satisfying because I've been saying this in my videos and on the line when we're teaching for quite some time now. And I'm sure other brothers have too. And I'm telling you, I know it because it's the nature of the business that I'm in and the way that I lost clients. All right, because the service that I provide is a luxury. It's a necessity in one way because there's nothing more important than your health. All right, outside of serving the Lord. But that's the thing that people stop doing. You know, they'll stop paying their trainer, okay, you know, stop going to see their trainer, but they'll keep buying, you know, hard alcohol and going to bars and stuff, you know. But I've been telling you because I had a lot of what you would call well-to-do clients over the years. All right, and when the people who had all this excess money stopped spending, what do you think the regular educated six-figure people are doing? When you got people that are worth millions that are not spending money anymore. All right? So I'm just thankful to Yahweh Shem Shai that it's actually starting to show on the internet now that these people are, because this whole column over here to the side, which just goes on and on and on, you go through it's all about people complaining. that's all and that road goes for quite some time. It's not just what you see. It goes on and on.
like singles, everyone seems to be having a hard time making ends meet right now. And I'm just really wondering why this doesn't feel like 2008. Like, I remember 2008 as a 9-year-old. because everybody was talking about how everything was so expensive and everybody was broke. And
in 2008, in 2006, 2007 is basically when the retail apocalypse began quietly, because stores that had been open, from as far as I can remember in Chicago, shops and some of the busiest shopping districts and streets where commerce would take place, they all just started shutting down. Restaurants started shutting down, and then all of a sudden, and then that's when all my clients started disappearing. All the really wealthy ones, the real wealth, right? Then over the course of the next 13 years, all the way up to now, all the way up until the pandemic, America was in a retail apocalypse. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Sears, Kmart, Ventures, Blockbusters, so many gigantic, stores, retail outlets are just gone. And then a lot of the big major ones that are still around, they're declining and disappearing. Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Burger King, those are two of the fast food giants. And they're shutting down and closing, reducing. Starbucks. It's still happening. And guess what? What they were telling you in the media is that, everything is fine, the economy's doing better. Liars like Snowfall Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Snow Joe, and his son Snow Hunter. They're telling you that everything's well. How can jobs have increased with all those Fortune 500 corporations shutting down, all those jobs going away? How could America be doing better? How is the Dow Jones and the markets and all that bullshit going up? All right. It's all manipulation and all fucking lies. Always has been. There is no way that you can have Sears, Kmart, Ventures, all these Target stores downsizing, Radio Shack, Blockbuster, all these things that you grew up with just disappeared, gone. And the markets were going up. All right? These people in rulership are the evil. They are wicked. They are liars.
no, there were no jobs. Like, I remember that as a child. And now as an adult, I'm like, wait, am I the only one struggling? Like, it has just occurred to me in the last month that I am not the only one. My husband and I have 3 degrees between the two of us.
Wow.
And we have 3 to 5 years of experience in our field.
And I've been saying this for so many years on the line. The degrees are worthless. The college, you've been better off going to a trade school, getting a trade. All right. And even those, unfortunately, are disappearing because they're using machines and AI technology to take their place. All right.
Still cannot get a job that makes life comfortable. So I'm just saying, I don't know how to fix it. That's above my pay grade. I don't know. Hopefully smarter people than me are working on that.
Yeah, it ain't no fixing it. The smarter people that's working, basically, they got rich off your dumb ass because they had stock in the colleges and in the books and in the book manufacturers with all the books that you were paying overpriced for. They got wealthy off you. All right. This is Daniel 4:17, and it reads, "This is the matter by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and he set up over it the basest of men." The most base men, pale-faced, bald, red-faced men, her men, are in rulership. And that is the reason why the world is in the condition that it is in. Point blank, period. That is the brutal, unadulterated truth of the matter. It's not being racist. It's not being hateful. It is the goddamn truth.
But I just kind of want us to know that, like, it's not us. Like, I think our parents told us to save money, save money, save money. And, like, you need to save, you're being irresponsible. Or you need to, make sure you're financially stable, or you're being irresponsible. Okay, well, what happens when I pay for all my basic needs and have nothing to save? So I'm just saying, it's not our fault. And
She's
simply
right.
to exist.
I actually have to agree with you on that. It's not
is
her fault.
expensive. And if you're feeling any kind of shame about,
But what she's experiencing, all right, because now that they're experiencing it, it's a problem because this is the condition that the average Negro, Latino, and Native American have lived in ever since they destroyed all the drown towns. Ever since they destroyed Rosewood, Elaine, Tennessee, the places in the Carolinas, the Black Belt here in Chicago, the Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ever since they destroyed all the strongholds that the former slaves built up and were doing actually better than her people in their own country, they got angry and they destroyed them, and then they set up the Jim Crow laws and the from school to jail pipeline, and they brought in the watch snowfall. They brought in the drugs. They took and commandeered all the land. Yellowstone, and made themselves rich. So her people did this, and now they're beginning to live. So what's really happening is the curses are now falling upon them. Let's grab that real quick. All right, let's grab that real quick. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. And it reads, "And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee." So I got news for you, Becky. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. The second chapter. And I'm going to just go straight to the point. Let me go to 7:11. I wanted to read more, but for time's sake, I need to put all this in red because this is I highlight the scriptures talking about Edom in red. But and I'm going to start at verse 10. And it reads, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient graves of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found nothing worth." So when they do you wrong, they don't care because their military might, their guns, their swords, their spears, all right? Before they had guns, before they had missiles, all right, became the rule of law. It's as simple as that. We don't care that it was your land. It's ours now. We don't care that you're being mistreated. We're not. And now that it's fallen upon them, they got a problem. Verse 12, "Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean, contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offering of the law. He objecteth to our infamy and transgression of our education." You damn right we do. All right. And that's exactly what it is. But you know what? It's okay, because guess what? It's all coming to an end for Esau, Edom. Let's get this last precept. All right. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 11. I got to highlight and note these scriptures all up too. There's a lot of history in 2nd Ezra 11 and 12 that lines up with secular history on the Romans, the Greeks and the Romans, and them being Edomites, and that they were wounded, and that wounded healed, and they came back in the rebirth. And guess what they called it? It was called the Renaissance. So these Edomites came back into power during the Renaissance. So just know that everything prior to the 1492, for the most part, in Europe was not them. They took back over Europe, and they started coming back into power, and it was called the Dark Ages because dark people were ruling. And there are so many relics to prove that. That's why they love to use Renaissance art to represent the 8th century, the 7th century, and the 5th century, and not real 5th, 6th, 7th century art. All right, they were not the Vikings. They were not the Scots. They were not the Irish. They were none of that. All right. Europe was all dark at that time. Just thought we give you that fact. But this is 2nd Ezra 11 and 39. I think this lesson is going to have to go on the Critical Race Historical Facts channel. But this is 2nd Ezra 11 and 39. It says, Art thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, those bases of men, the wicked? All right, that at the end of their times might come through them. They've brought their own end through their own ways, and they're messing over their own people. To him that doeth good, that doeth good, I mean, to wicked to himself. Somebody can put that on the comment board. All right. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon earth with deceit. And now the water Yahweh, that deceit is coming to an end. Call halal Yahweh Bashan Abashai Bahashem Rakak Wadash Wa Abab Abal Kwam Yasharala Shalom.